This is a Nextbot. If you've been playing Roblox within the last 2 years, chances are you've heard of these things before. These things are loud, funny, yet oddly unsettling. These disturbing PNG images have been around a whole lot longer than you think. It's only more recently they've been gaining popularity on the internet. And of course, with popularity comes Roblox copies. But before we even dive into these respective games, it's important to mention where Nextbots even originate from.
Open the gate! Open the gate!
It's really funny seeing clips like these. If you're wondering where these originate from, these come from an ancient game called Garry's Mod. Garry's Mod is a sandbox game developed by Face Punch Studios, initially releasing in 2006. It has no objectives. It's only a game for people to mess around with. And oh boy did people mess around. Nextbots has technically been around since 2007, created by Valve to be used in Left 4 Dead. But it wasn't until 6 years later everyone started to use them. The first Nextbot to ever debut was in 2013 with the release of the Sonic the Hedgehog add-on, created by Zyxen? Yeah, I'm not pronouncing that. This add-on started the trend of users creating their version of the add-on by replacing sounds and textures. And eventually these add-ons would be given the name of Nextbot. Nextbots would continue to remain in obscurity of the internet for a whole decade, until suddenly they went viral near the end of 2022. This is when Roblox players began scrambling to make Nextbot games, which in turn led to the creation of Nico's Nextbots. Nico's Nextbots. Oh, this game already gives me some nostalgia. Hence the name. Nico's Nextbots is a Nextbot-inspired game created by Nico. It was released sometime around the end of 2022, right when Nextbots were going viral. Gameplay-wise, there isn't much to do, except try to run from the Nextbots as long as you can. Upon release, Nico's Nextbots only had a single map, that being Nico's Mall. This single map would remain as the only map in Nico's Nextbots for a long time. Due to Nico's Nextbots being the most popular Nextbots game on Roblox at the time, Nico didn't see much reason to try and update the game frequently, as he knew very well that he had almost no competition. That was until Evade started to take off. Evade took over Roblox extremely quickly, due to the more competitive nature of the game, bigger map pool, more game modes, and faster pacing. Nico's Nextbots was slowly losing players, so in turn, Nico updated the game to be a lot like Evade, adding the arcade game mode in March 3rd, 2023. But despite Nico's efforts, it just couldn't compete with Evade, which leads us to the second major game before the downfall of Nextbots. Evade is truly able to withstand the test of time, especially with Nextbots falling out of relevancy. Evade was created all the way back in 2022. Wow, that was 2 years ago now. Nextbots were viral at the time, but they couldn't just copy off of Nico's. So instead, they decided to make something completely different. Evade, instead of just a single map for people to goof around in, instead opted to create a round-based system, with a whole variety of maps for people to vote and play on. The goal of this game? Survive until the timer expires. This style of gameplay was immediately much more engaging than the gameplay of Nico's, which is probably why it quickly hit 1 billion visits within just mere months. The amount of replayability this game possesses is insurmountable, and the number of YouTubers that made videos covering this gem of a game is absurd. With 2 extremely successful Roblox Nextbot games existing, and each with still a surprising amount of concurrent players, you'd think there would be absolutely no way for these games to somehow fall off the front page. And yet, here we are. Beginning of 2024, yet both of these giant games that once ruled the front page are hardly there anymore. Why is that? Well, let's analyze this downfall. Nextbots originally went viral halfway through 2022, with everybody creating at least some form of video going over the topic. Naturally, people began creating Roblox games based off of this trend, due to the popularity of it. Their games became absolutely massive. Start of 2023, however, Nextbots slowly faded into obscurity again, and with these games based upon trending topics on the internet, lo and behold, their games began to also slowly fade off the front page. By the end of 2023, the majority of the internet lost interest in these PNG images, and now we have arrived at the present day, the current state of Nextbot games. Games with incredible replayability, well put together gameplay, yet shells of their former glory. There isn't much these games could have done to prevent their downfall, however. That's just the reality of trend games on Roblox. But despite everything I've said, these games are extremely fun to play, especially Nico's Nextbots. Although with all of this said, why the hell are these things so terrifying? They're literally just PNG images. That's a topic that's probably been covered by someone else though. Let me know in the comments whether you think Nico's Nextbots or Evade is the better Nextbots game. Make sure to click the subscribe button. I would appreciate it greatly. Thanks for watching. Zero out.